Welcome back to PASC26 and highlights from the Mini Symposium. Joining me here I have Vincenzo Padlano and Florina de Geus, both from CERN actually, and you've organized a great Mini Symposium on the importance of data management in workflows. So not just workflows, but what we're processing in the workflows. Tell me more about it. Why did you organize this?
Yes, thank you. So we are the co-organizers of data management in scientific workflows. Our idea was to create a forum for experts of different scientific fields to come together and discuss the topic of data management. We realized while we were thinking about this symposium that indeed data-driven methods are essential in many scientific fields, especially those where there are huge amounts of data being collected by various instruments. And especially in this regard, the topic of whether yes or no you want to have data management policies in your application, in your domain, becomes a pressing matter. So that's why we wanted to organize in this occasion here at PASC a forum to share experiences, concrete ideas, and approaches from different scientific fields. So we had a selection, of course, and then made of 3 talks by invited speakers, and then we followed it with a panel discussion where there was indeed this idea sharing, also with a lively engagement from the audience.
And I know that CERN is particularly serious about this, that most of my data usages are completely dwarfed by your scales. So were there any specific highlights from them? Anything surprising or interesting?
I think what was really interesting is, so we had, of course, I was giving our side of the perspective, so the kind of the high energy physics perspective. Then we had another speaker from radio astronomy that, in principle, they have very similar workflows, but then because the nature of their science is so different, some of the concerns that they had, or one of the things that they actually have to think about, are very different. So it was really interesting to talk about and to kind of share these perspectives and see where we meet, but also then where we differ.
So I have a very concrete challenge. In Sweden, we have a couple of these large infrastructures, not quite as large as CERN, but synchrotron radiation facilities, neutron scattering facilities. And they all have this data coming directly in from the detectors. So where should we even start? Because neither I nor they know how to handle it. And I guess you know more. You worked with this for years.
Well, high energy physics indeed has had these huge data volumes for many years, many decades at this point. So data management is practically embedded in the way we think about computing models for physics experiments. Some of the practices in high energy physics could be indeed applicable to other fields. I would say one general remark is always try and coordinate between the application developers, the scientists, and also the funding agencies and the institutions that have the resources to put in place those computing infrastructures. Indeed, data management is a very broad topic, but it requires different types of professionals coming together and working together towards a common objective.
So historically with workflows, that a lot of work has gone into specifying things, having strict, whether we call them APIs or something. And nowadays, many of these things are partly taken over by AI. We're having basically AI learn how to glue different programs together rather than humans doing it. Is this also relevant for the data part of it?
I would say it's becoming more relevant. I don't think we have a clear idea yet how to do it, but there's definitely more and more talk about it and people trying things out, sharing experiences. I think it's too early to tell what concretely will happen, but it's definitely something that we have to keep our eyes on.
Mm-hmm. So, based on this and the successful symposium, what's the next step? What should we all think more about both as researchers and infrastructure?
So I think definitely one step is to talk more about it, especially in contexts that are by nature interdisciplinary. So events like PASC, where we can have symposia, where we bring together experts from different disciplines, are quite fundamental in that regard. And indeed, one of the topics that came up during the discussion with our audience is the fact that sometimes data management is seen as a separate concern with respect to the actual scientific output of the particular field. But indeed, there should be a better integration between the data management policies and the decision makers together with the scientists to understand the actual best outcome for and best processes to put in place to manage data.
And also making sure we fund the data management will work, it sounds like, right?
Yes. Absolutely.
Thank you so much, both of you, and enjoy the rest of the conference. And
Thanks a lot.